All right, folks, so pro-Palestinian protesters, try saying that 10 times fast, have effectively shut down Columbia University. We're going to talk about everything that led up to this, and we're going to look at both sides as best we can to see if there's some understanding that can be found. But before we get into all that, welcome to Christosophy, the show where we talk about relevant topics and shine light into the darkest of places and spaces. This episode will be no different. Folks, it's YouTube, so if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you like the video, share the video with your friends to share this information. Also, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss when I drop more videos like that. So let's dive into this. I'm going to read the story here so I don't miss any key parts. In recent months, there have been ongoing protests at Columbia University related to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Pro-Palestine student groups like Students for Justice in Palestine, or SJP, put a pin there, and Jewish Voice for Peace, JVP, put a pin there as well, have held demonstrations on campus, some of which have turned confrontational. In November of 2023, just several months ago, Columbia suspended both SJP and JVP student groups after determining they had violated university policies by holding an unauthorized event that included threatening rhetoric and intimidation. However, the suspended groups have continued organizing protests and events on campus, sometimes under different group names. In January of 2024, so now we're getting a little more recent, a pro-Palestinian protest on campus escalated when two individuals allegedly sprayed a noxious chemical substance on the student protesters, causing injuries. The university condemned the incident and launched an investigation, temporarily banning the suspected perpetrators from campus. So that catches you up. The latest development is that protests have become so widespread and so strong on Columbia University's campus that they have decided to go the rest of the school year, just a few more weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, remote. So the school is effectively shut down. Protesters are still out there, and some students are actually asking for a refund as the school costs about $70,000 a year. Now, here's one thing. If you're protesting to the point that the school shuts down, you can't then really ask for a refund. The school didn't want to shut down. It's just the protests between these two groups have gotten so contentious that they've been forced to shut down, apparently for people's safety. Let's assume that it's for safety and give Columbia the benefit of the doubt here. And here's the thing. Pro-Palestinian support, to the surprise of many people, certainly in the United States, has been very strong, even to unprecedented levels, especially concerning young people. Here's some data I pulled related to TikTok that supports this. It says a Quinnipiac University poll showed that young people supporting Palestine jumped from 26% to 52% from mid-October to mid-November of 2023. A Gallup poll from 2023 shows that 42% of young Americans support Palestine and 40% support Israel. And so that leaves about 18% undecided. But that was just in the spring of 2023. So that was about a year ago. How has that changed now? Also, the hashtag Free Palestine has been used over 233,000 times. That's 38 times more than hashtag Stand With Israel. And that was just in a span of 30 days. And so this is something that people are not going to be able to just get away from. This conversation is going to permeate culture until it's dealt with in an honest and transparent way. And speaking of transparency, look, the facts are, we don't know. Unless we're there, we don't know what's happening there. All of the media sources, all of the boots on the ground have not been transparent enough with what's really going on. And until that happens, people are going to side with the underdog naturally. They're going to see these tens of thousands of deaths that are happening in Palestine and in Gaza and all these things. And this has been widely reported on, from CNN and Fox News to even NATO, talking about so many people dying. People are not okay with that. On both sides, people are not okay with all this death. And I don't think any sane person would be. And now more and more countries are getting involved, as Iran and Israel have had tensions rise just in the last few weeks. And so the question is, can there be an end to this violence? Well, obviously it has to be on the part of both sides. They have to agree to a ceasefire and just stop. And here's the thing, there may be people on both sides of the conflict that support the violence and some people who don't support the violence. And until there's unity on those sides, both for peace, we're not going to see an end to this bloodshed. And you know what? It's sad. It's sickening to see so many people die, but war is an unfortunate reality of the world that we live in. But I think what makes it so difficult for some people on both sides to stay quiet or to accept what's happening is when you feel like you're not getting the full story, when you feel like the powers that be are not being transparent about what's really going down. And so we'll just have to wait until more of the story comes out. Shout out to all the honest journalists who are going out trying to get the full story. We know that with these kinds of things, it could be decades before people find out what's really going on. But of course, I want to know what you think down in the comments below. So give me a comment. I love chatting it up with you guys as always. Also, like the video, share the video, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss as we continue to fight evil.